Welcome to the Prophecy Club. We're going to be talking on part of a DVD today. I'm going to be making one called Revelations on Revelation. As you know, I memorized the book of Revelation, and in the process, God showed me a lot of revelations. As a matter of fact, I'm about to make a double DVD on all of these revelations that have been shown. They're just awesome. Matter of fact, let me tell you about the DVD because I really want you to get this DVD. I think it's the best DVD that I have ever made in my 24 years in a prophecy club. This will be the 34th DVD. Okay. First of all, let me give you the bullet points, and then we're going to talk about today who the two witnesses are not and who they are. So, first of all, yes, I'm going to be making a new DVD. Topics are going to be Jesus is not the primary message of Revelation, surprisingly. What is? My biggest revelation, which is the morning star. Who are the two witnesses? We're about to discuss that part today. Final answer to the rapture question. Final answer. We're going to solve it. Finally, we will solve it. Definite proof America is in Revelation. What is America's future? 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. When does the New Jerusalem arrive, at the 6,000 or at the 7,000 year mark? Are there 2 or just 1 judgment? And the surprising final plague on the earth. Now, I'm going to be speaking Saturday evening, October 14th, Sunday morning the 15th. Saturday night, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Prophecy Club, Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner of Park and K in Plano, Texas, 2540 K Avenue. Again, that's October 14, 15, Saturday night, Sunday morning. No charge. DVD is called Revelations on Revelation. Normally, we ask a gift of $30 per DVD. That would be $60 for both. And typically, when we have a double DVD, we ask a gift of $50. However, we are making a special pre-order gift offer of just $40. So if you get it ordered before October 14th, before I speak on October 14th, we're going to make the double DVD available for a gift of $40. Trust me, it is going to be really, really good. Now, today let's talk about who are the two witnesses. Now, I've kind of already briefly touched on who they are, but first, based upon some emails I've got, we have to talk about why Enoch and Elijah are not the two witnesses, as I used to think. First of all, I'm going to overcome a couple of assumptions that I now believe is error. One, that the two witnesses have to come back from the dead. Is that true? They also have to be Enoch and Elijah. So let's talk about why it's neither of those. Now, again, I've been teaching Bible prophecy, studying it 40 years, teaching it 30 years, or something like that. I used to think that Enoch and Elijah had to be the two witnesses because they didn't die. Hebrews 9:27, and I quoted it just like you do. It is appointed a man once to die and then the judgment. Okay, so since Enoch and Elijah didn't die, they got to be the two witnesses, right? Wait a minute. Let's look a little deeper. First of all, Deuteronomy 19:15 says, in the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall a matter be established. And in the world of gematria, every major doctrinal point in the Bible is always found twice. Always. If it's a major doctrinal point, it is always found twice. Problem with that is, Hebrews 9:27, it is appointed a man once to die and then the judgment. Whoops. Doesn't have a confirming verse. Not that I've been able to find anyway. There's no place in the Bible that says we only have to die one time, except Hebrews 9:27. That's the only place. Okay? And I have seen countless times with major doctrinal points, God always says it twice. Sometimes he says it twice in the same verse even. So in that, it's not said, it is appointed man once to die and then the judgment twice, in that's not in the Bible, at least not that I know of. You know about it. Email me at askstan@prophecyclub.com. So in that's not there. What does that mean? Does that mean the Bible's wrong? No. It's just saying that it's not a rock solid, always got to happen every time doctrinal point. That's all it's saying. Now, Elijah. Prophecy has to be fulfilled. Malachi 4:5 says, Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. I quoted that verse. I said, so that proves Elijah's got to be one of the two witnesses. Yeah, well, the problem is Luke 1:13 says, and that's always a problem. You know, we get it all figured out, and then there's this other verse that comes along and messes up what we thought. But again, that's the plight we watchmen, we Bible prophecy teachers and students are on. Okay, we're always trying to figure things out, but there's another verse. Okay, well, here's the other verse. Luke 1:13 says, But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zechariah, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias. Let me read that last part again. It's saying John will come in the spirit and the power of Elias. That's the prophecy. Didn't say Enoch, didn't say Elijah. It said John would come in the spirit and power of Elias. Okay, well, you got a confirming verse? Sure do. Matthew 11:13, Jesus speaking, said, For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John, and if you receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. Meaning, the prophecy that says, I'm going to send you Elijah the prophet before the coming great and dreadful day of the Lord has been fulfilled. Meaning, Elijah ain't coming. Okay, he's not the one. Okay, so there's no Elijah. Let's move on to the next thing. Now, if the beast can come back to life, then so can two witnesses. Meaning that we don't necessarily have only once to die. Is that true? You got a verse on that, Stan? Yeah, unfortunately, I got several of them. Okay, let's go to Daniel. Now, Daniel chapter 4, the whole point of Daniel chapter 4, I believe, is to tell us who the Antichrist is. And he cried aloud, Daniel 4:14, and said thus, Hew down the tree, cut off the branches, shake off the leaves, scatter his fruit, let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from the branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth. Now, this is talking about Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, question. You cut off a tree, let's say about waist high, you leave the stump, what happens? Every time the tree grows back. So what it's saying is Nebuchadnezzar will come back to life. I believe Nebuchadnezzar will be the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit, as in the Antichrist. Let's go on. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even the band of iron and the brass and the tender grass of the field, let it be wet from the dew of heaven. Let his portion be with the beasts of the earth. Here it is. This is saying he's going to be the Antichrist. And his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him. There you go. And let 7 times pass over him. I got an email from someone that says, and just where does it say in the Bible that the tribulation lasts 7 years? And I pointed him to Daniel 4:16, where it says, let 7 times pass over him. I said, now it doesn't say the tribulation lasts 7 years. But when you understand that the whole point of Daniel chapter 4 is to tell us who the Antichrist is, and it says, and a beast's heart is given to him for 7 years, it's not too hard to conclude. That's what it's saying. Now let's go on to another point. Revelation 11:7 says, and when they, talking about the two witnesses, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit. Oh, wait a minute. Well, if it's appointed a man wants to die and then the judgment, what's the Bible doing saying that? Big problem, right? Okay, so obviously it is not necessarily appointed a man wants to die every time without exception. I think it's saying that in general it's appointed a man, in other words, as common people, wants to die and then the judgment. But God is sovereign and he can do what he wants to do. Let's go on to the next verse. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So it clearly says the beast, the Antichrist, comes back from that stump of roots. I believe he's going to be Nebuchadnezzar. So clearly here we have, 5 verses. 5 verses talking about a guy that comes back from the dead. So we have to conclude Hebrews 9:27 is not a hard and fast rule that can never be broken, and it does not have a confirming verse, meaning that Elijah and Enoch do not necessarily have to be the 2 witnesses. Okay, so if they don't have to be the 2 witnesses, then who are the 2 witnesses? Good question. Now, I've already covered part of this in another video a couple of months ago. I'm going to say the first one is going to be John, and here I'm going to give you a couple of reasons. 1, Revelation 1:9. Now, this is John speaking, and it's amazing because, I don't know how long I've been teaching Revelation, and you've been reading it, maybe even teaching it yourself for a long time. And yet, when I began memorizing it and began praying, Lord, show me the deep and secret things within your word. Show me the revelations. Help me to understand it. All of a sudden, I began to see things, and that's what the whole DVD is about. This is not going through Revelation verse by verse. Okay, it's not that. This is only the revelations that I was shown in the book of Revelation. But here it is in black and white. He's telling us that John is going to be one of the 2 witnesses. Here it is. Revelation 1:9. I, John, who am also your brother and companion in tribulation. What? Listen to what it says. That's what God kept saying. Look, see, here's my book. This is my book that I wrote down the whole book of Revelation in, okay, and I keep going through this, refreshing my memory because I have a memory that has auto-delete on it. Okay, so as I go through this, Lord, show me the deep and secret things. Lord, show me the revelation. Show me more. Show me more. And so I'm reading this, and all of a sudden, boom, it pops right off the page. I just told you. That was important. What, did you read it? Did you look at it? Okay, well, what? So I open my eyes. I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation. Now, was he saying, hey, I'm just with you, I know it's difficult following Jesus, and hey, I'm just with you in the kingdom of God? Is that what he's saying? Or is he actually saying, I'm going to be there? I'm going to be there in that 7-year tribulation. I'm going to be there with you. Is that what he's saying? Well, Stan, you got another verse on that? Because you already said you got to find 2 verses on it. Yes, I do. Reason number 2, Revelation 10:8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, Go, take the little book. Now, this is the angel talking to John the Revelator, okay? Take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel, which standeth upon the sea on the earth. And we skip down to verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. As soon as I'd eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said to me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Whoa, well, we just read through that pretty fast, but did you catch it? Look a little closer. Thou must prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. What's the situation? According to Fox's Book of Martyrs, John the Revelator was boiled in oil, trying to kill him. They couldn't kill him, kind of like Dimitri. They took him out of the oil. He was so ugly, having been boiled in oil, they banned him to the island Patmos. According to Fox's Book of Martyrs, that's where he died. According to them, he never left that island. According to the Fox's Book of Martyrs, he's buried on the island of Patmos. However, the angel, and this is a big, powerful angel that had 1 foot on the sea, 1 foot on the land, that raises his hand and says there's time no longer. This is a big, powerful angel that says you're going to prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Yet John is buried in the island Patmos today. So obviously, John's got to come back up out of the grave just like the beast. In other words, history is going to repeat itself. God's going to have this whole thing play out again. Now, hang on, there's more. Okay, so he says, you're going to prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Then, 4 verses later, it starts talking about the 2 witnesses. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Why did he jump? Now, yes, there's a chapter change there, but there's not a topic change. 4 verses later, after he says, you're going to prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. 4 verses later, he says, I'm going to give power to my 2 witnesses. See, we not only have one We have several verses that saying, yeah, John is going to be one of the two witnesses. Now, let's go to the next one. It's not as hard and fast about Moses, but I think that Moses is the other one. And here's why I say that. Revelation 15:2. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten, listen, them that got victory over the beast, over his image, over his mark, and over the number of his name. That's four things, okay? They got victory over the beast, over his image, over his mark, and over the number of his name. Four things. So these people obviously just came through a great battle. They battled and they got victory over the beast. All right, now watch. And I saw them stand upon the sea of glass, having the harps of God, and they sing the song of Moses. Okay, now, in that they stand on the sea of glass tells us these are in heaven. These are people that got the victory over the beast. They're standing in heaven. They're playing harps of God. But what song is it that they're singing? They're not singing the song of Elijah. They're not singing the song of Enoch. They're singing the song of Moses. Why are they singing the song of Moses? I'll tell you why I think. I think because these people that just got the victory over the mark of the beast just spent 3.5 years battling the beast on the streets of Jerusalem. That's why they're singing, it says, they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints, for who shall fear thee? Who shall not fear thee? For thou only art holy. Why are they saying that? Because they're saying because they just spent 3.5 years battling with these two witnesses, battling with Moses on the streets of Jerusalem. They just spent time with him. They saw him. That's why they're singing the song of Moses. Now, let's go on. I think that they see John, they see Moses on the streets of Jerusalem. Reason number 2. In Egypt, Moses turned water to blood. Moses, in the days of Pharaoh, also, according to Exodus 7:17, said, thus saith the Lord, in this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. So Moses turned water to blood. Then we go to what the two witnesses do. Revelation 11:16, these have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. So we also have Moses, who turned water to blood back in the days of the Pharaoh, now Saul also turning water to blood in the tribulation. So conclusion, I think Moses and John are the two witnesses. Again, get the DVD. It's going to be a great DVD. Get the DVD. And it's called Revelations on Revelation. Topics are, Jesus is not the primary message of Revelation. What is? My biggest revelation, the morning star. And that's worthy right there. Just to know what that is, because it ain't nobody ever seen this. And I'm going to have to claim originality on this. It's really good. Who are the two witnesses? The final answer to the rapture question. Definitive proof, finally, that America is in Revelation. What America's future is. 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. When does the New Jerusalem arrive? Are there 1 or 2 judgments? The surprising final plague on the earth. I'll be speaking October 14, 15, Saturday night, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 p.m., The doubled DVD normally would be valued at $60. If you order it before October 14, it's available for a gift of $40. If you order it after October 14, it's available for a gift of $50. 785-266-1112 or prophecyclub.com. Thank you for watching and thank you for your gifts of support. God bless.